Today, we reveal the investment fallacy you need to watch out for and how my investment beat the insane Evolution's price spike. I'm Kakashi with Kanto Capital. We are back talking about evolutions again. Now, I talked about this in my last video, but you probably know the story. Evolutions printed for 4 years, non-stop, literally non-stop. Pokemon just kept printing and they put it in just about every product imaginable. And yet, quite literally overnight, the price recently skyrocketed from $150 a booster box up to $450, practically overnight. Quite a few people didn't think it was a great investment, and to be completely honest with you, I do not own a single Evolutions booster box. Part of the reason I don't have an Evolutions box is because it was very low on my investment priority list. Simply put, I liked the set, but the fundamentals of it were risky to me. But here's the other part of the story. I also have no regrets. Alright, maybe a tiny bit. I would like to have a box. But really, I have absolutely zero regrets that I didn't buy any Evolutions boxes. Well, by now you must be wondering why. And why would I not regret it? The answer is simple. It's because my sealed investment destroyed the returns of Evolutions booster boxes. So as much as I would have liked to have an Evolutions booster box, I'm actually glad I don't have one. The capital that would have been directed into Evolution's booster boxes, I used them somewhere else and I got superior returns. And because you are an awesome viewer of this channel, I will reveal how I did it. Earlier this year, somewhere around Q1, Q2, I had decided it was time to allocate some capital into sealed product from the X and Y era. Among the sets that I was considering, I definitely wanted an Evolutions position to be a part of that. If we go back in time a little bit to during that time period in Q1, Q2, there were still actually major concerns about the amount of Evolutions product being printed. I mean, heck, you can probably see videos from other channels very recently probably still talking about the glut of Evolutions product. But anyway, so I decided I wanted a position in Evolutions. But when I went to look up the prices, I wasn't really happy with what I found. I checked the price of booster boxes at that time, and I believe they were somewhere around, this is based off of my memory, but I believe they were around $100 to $110 at that time. Now, considering everything I knew about the set, I didn't really like the price point, and I thought it was a little expensive. And yeah, I know that's a funny thing to say now with everything that's going on with the hobby today, but it was a little bit high for me at the time. And it was a little bit frustrating because I basically had the thought in my mind that I'm either going to have to buy the booster box and pay a little bit higher than I'd like, or I'm just not going to buy them at all. Keep listening because this is where things get interesting and then I'll show you how it relates to you. But I looked around and instead I was actually able to find a deal. In this deal, instead, I acquired booster packs at a much cheaper cost. If we break down the math of a booster box at the time, I said $100 to $110 per box. Let's go with $108 because that gives us very friendly math at $3 per booster pack. Well, with this deal that I ended up finding, I was able to secure booster packs at about $1 per pack. And yes, you heard that right, $1 per pack. It was actually part of a larger deal. And if I were to be a little more realistic, I'd actually estimate my cost basis to be closer to about 50 cents a pack. But I just like to round up in this scenario just to make things a little bit easy and give myself a little less wiggle room. And yes, they are real authentic packs. But anyway, so naturally, I bought as much as I could. And with this position secured, I no longer felt the need to buy a booster box anymore. Because while booster boxes were going for about $100 or $110, my cost basis ended up being between $18 to $36 for the same amount of packs that's in a box. So even factoring in the premium that booster boxes tend to get over loose packs, the cost basis just made a lot of sense to me. And this also allowed me to hold a sealed product position while almost completely eliminating my risk. So even though I wasn't going to get a booster box, I ended up liking this deal a lot better. Now keep listening because you must know these details in order to be able to get bigger profits. Now knowing these facts, let's look at the returns of sealed product and how they compare. Now even though Evolution's boxes were very recently at about $150 to $200 before the price spike, I'll be using $100 because that's a lot closer to the price at the time that I was trying to acquire my position. Again, at the time, booster boxes were about $100 to $110. If I compared it to the recent prices of around $150 to $200, then you could argue even better performance, but I do like to set the bar a little bit higher. So again, if we look at Evolution's booster boxes, at the time that I was buying them, or looking to buy them, they were about $100. Today, Evolution's booster boxes are pushing about $450. Let's go ahead and round that up to a nice even number of $500. That is about a 500% or 5x return. Comparing this to my Evolution's booster packs, if we factor in a cost basis at the high end of about $1 per pack, that would give me a 1000% return or about 10x on my money. If we use a more realistic approach, which I believe would be around 50 cents per pack, then instead we'd be looking at 2000% returns or about 20 times returns. So what we end up seeing here in both scenarios is that I had massively beat the rate of return of Evolution's boxes with my investment into Evolution's. I know it sounds a little bit weird, but quite simply, my Evolution's investment beat the market. Now, what can we take from this? Here's what you need to know. Making a profit is great, and I will never complain about making 3 to 5 times my money. I mean, that is great returns in any market, in any investment category. But don't fall into the fallacy of just being happy to make a profit. If you aren't keeping up with the market or beating it, then you will fall behind and your goals will get further and further out of reach. You are capable of doing better than that, and you aren't here just to be as good as the person next to you. Please understand that I am not saying that you will find a great deal all the time, but those deals can be the difference between making 5 times your money and 20 times your money. The reason you hear about crazy deals that you missed is because they are out there. And I know this sounds a little counterintuitive, but that's exactly what you want to hear. You want to hear that you missed a deal, because that means the deals exist and people are finding them. And if they can find the deals, you can find them. I'm going to assume you probably don't want to hear about rich people buying 6-figure collections, or store owners buying pallets of product, or people filling their warehouses of this stuff. You want to know that there are regular people scooping up crazy deals. See if there's a better way, a different way to maximize your returns. Maybe you hunt and you find deals. Maybe you go out there and you hustle by buying and selling and trading cards to increase your buying power. Maybe you work a few extra hours to increase your investment position so you can multiply your returns. But whatever you do not fall into the fallacy of just making profits and thinking that's it. You can beat the market. Seek to outperform. Expect to outperform. Whatever it is, the opportunities are out there and they are everywhere. You just have to go out there, get creative, and go get it. I'm Kakashi with Kanto Capital. Thank you so much for watching. You can help support the channel just by liking this video and subscribing. There's also plenty of videos on this channel that others have really enjoyed, like my analysis on Vivid Voltage, Pokemon's upcoming release, or my take on Champion's Path, the most recent holiday set. I'll leave links to those videos in the description. Have a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next video.